Good. Christian, Clark, welcome. Ben, welcome. Derek, Gene, Jim, Carl. We got Keith, Lee, all kinds of people joining us here. Welcome, everybody. Very good. I'll go ahead and start doing an official introduction here, and then we'll get going. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Those of you who are here on time, we want to respect that. So for those of you who have been keeping an eye on what I would consider the broader kind of outsourcing marketplace and gig marketplace, if you would, as well as the agency space. They're depending on the market that you're serving and who you're going after and all that good stuff. Those things kind of can blend together. That in 2000, this was in 2015, I think it accounted for over $1.1 trillion in work being done through those sites. That's just an astounding number. I mean, when you hear all of the buzz that e-commerce generates, and e-commerce in the United States is a fraction of that. I think that e-commerce in the United States is just passing like 500 billion in retail e-commerce. So it's roughly half the size, or maybe even a third of the size of outsourced services. So if you've been keeping an eye on that bigger, broader marketplace, it would be hard for you to have missed Growth Geeks and what Bronson Taylor has been doing here over the last couple of years. We have been keeping an eye on it because we love, exactly, I think, the strategy that you have been using at the business, which is what we call these productized services. And for those of you who have been in our community, in local sales lab and stuff like that here for the last handful of years, you've seen or heard me, I'm sure, talking about how too many people, I think, get caught in the trap of being consultants instead of delivering, what I call a productized service, where you're able to say, hey, here's this discrete, delivery of goods that you are going to get for X dollars. And that's the model that we have used to build our IT management services business. It's the model that we use to build our agency business. And it's one that I wish I saw more people taking advantage of, because I think it's a much better model in most situations. And I think, like I said here, over the last couple of years, nobody has done it better than what you're able to see on Growth Geek. So super, super excited to be able to dive into what exactly these guys have been doing and the success that it's created. And we have the man behind it with us on the call here today, Bronson Taylor, who is actually running that business and built that business up from scratch, and has done, like I said, all kinds of really impressive things with it. So everybody, you're here. You set aside your time to be here and sign up. So make sure that you're getting the most out of the time, which means shut down all the distractions and give your full attention. Ask questions to make sure that you're getting those questions answered, so that you can get the most out of our time together. And on that note, Bronson, I'll let you take it away.
All right. Mike, thank you so much for that intro. And let me just say this. If that intro resonated with you when you think about the size of the services market and you think about productized services and the trend we're seeing there, if that resonated with you, you are going to love this webinar. I mean, this is what I do. This is the idea that I've been obsessed with for years now. And I'll even say this. At the end of this webinar, I'm going to show you something that might possibly blow your mind in terms of how you can take advantage of those trends. So this is definitely one where the really, really incredible thing that I'm going to show you is at the end. So don't drop off in the middle and think you heard it all, because you didn't, all right? So this is 3 secrets to a predictable 7-figure digital agency. And every piece of that title is important, right? You may look at it and think that's hyperbole, too good to be true, not going to happen. By the time you're done hearing this webinar, you're going to realize this is very possible. And not only that, it's possible for you to do it, because I'm going to lay out exactly how I did it from A to Z, 0 to 1, how I actually built a predictable 7-figure digital agency. And I'm going to tell you the 3 secrets. I'm going to walk through the 3 important insights that I had to get the hard way, I had to suffer to get these secrets, you're going to get them here in the next hour just from showing up and listening. And so you're going to get the 3 secrets, and it is going to be predictable. By the end of this webinar, you're going to say, wow, that is predictable 7 figures. It's not feast or famine. It's not trying to track down a new client and hope you can make payroll this month. It's actually predictable revenue, and it's actually 7 figures. It's very possible to get into the 7-figure range, and you're going to do it with your digital agency. And so I want you to really focus on your business for the next hour, right? Sometimes in life, you have the chance to transform your situation if you just pay attention and take something seriously. I think this is one of those times. And like I said, I'm actually going to be sharing stuff at the end of this webinar that I've never shared with anyone on any webinar. There are literally new slides in here that are the best slides, and they've never been seen before. So this is my trial run, but it's also you getting access to something as the first group getting access to it. All right, let's jump in here. Let me tell you a little bit about me, just so you know why you should listen to what I have to say. So I am the author, along with Neil Patel, of The Definitive Guide to Growth Hacking. It's an ebook we put out. It's the first ebook on growth hacking, and it's received over 500,000 downloads. Also, I'm the host of Growth Hacker TV. On Growth Hacker TV, we've interviewed almost 200 of the greatest growth minds on the planet. These are the people that grew Twitter and Dropbox and LinkedIn. These are, people like Eric Ries and Guy Kawasaki and Steve Blank and Jason Calacanis. The list just goes on and on. So I've spent the last couple of years being inundated with amazing advice from 200 of the greatest growth minds on the planet. And a lot of what they've said has made its way into my strategies. Also, you can read about the things I've been doing in a number of books that you can buy at Barnes & Noble right now. Ryan Holiday writes about what I do in growth hacker marketing. You can read about me in lean branding or A World Gone Social. People have taken notice of the way I've approached building a digital agency, and it's really caught their attention. And also, about 2 years ago, my company actually got to go through the Techstars Accelerator, and this last year, I was able to go back to Techstars as a mentor, actually able to give back to new startups coming through. And so that's a little bit about what I've been up to for the last few years here. Also, the mandatory social proof slide here. Stuff I've done has been written about in Inc. magazine. I was on the front page of the Chicago Tribune. I got a 2-page spread in Esquire magazine about one of my products. I had 3 or 4 episodes on Discovery Science Channel about one of my products. I've been in the Huffington Post and many more. Basically just to say the stuff I've done has caused some noise in the business world. And this is my all-time favorite quote about me. It's from the editor-in-chief of The Next Web. He says, Bronson Taylor has the antidote for the hype. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea what that quote means, but it is by far, I literally don't. If you guys can decipher that, let me know what it means. I think it's positive. I wouldn't share it if I didn't think it was positive. I think it's a good thing that I have antidote for the hype. But, when I read that, I think, I don't know what it means, but, man, it sounds awesome. So that's what they had to say about me at The Next Web. All right, enough about accolades. Let's get into the meat of this. How are you actually going to build a predictable 7-figure digital agency? I'm going to tell you my story, but my story is going to be filled with lessons. And my story starts with an old beat-up Isuzu Trooper. A couple years back, I had an old Isuzu Trooper on its last leg, and I said, all right, I have 0 in revenue. I don't have a digital agency. I don't have a single client. I don't have anything as revenue, much less predictable revenue. I got nothing. But I did have this. I had a family that I needed to feed, so I figured I need to figure something out here, right? So I called my brother up, and he was in actually a different state. And I said, hey, we got to do something, man. We got to hustle our way out of this situation we're in. I said, here's the plan. I'm going to get in my Isuzu Trooper. You're going to get on Google Maps. I'm going to drive around down here in Florida. I'm going to drive around, and I'm going to tell you what road I'm on so you can bring it up on Google Maps at your house. And you're going to look at all the websites of the businesses that I'm passing until you find one that's terrible. Maybe they don't have a clear call to action. Maybe it's aesthetically not designed well. Maybe it's not mobile responsive. Whatever the reason, you tell me if there's a company that needs a new website, and I'm going to go in and try to sell them one, all right? And so he would say, all right, pull over right there. They need a website. I would literally pull over the Isuzu Trooper, get out, go in. I would walk right past the no soliciting sign, and I would get inside, and they'd say, hey, did you see the no soliciting sign? And I would say, yeah, but when you're trying to feed your family, you can't pay attention to stuff like that. And I would pitch them on a new website. And my goal originally with this scheme was to get $4,000 in revenue a month. And that was so that I could split it with my brother. He would take 2K, I would take 2K. And that was before taxes, right? So, do the math. We're living below the poverty line here. But that's where this whole thing started. And I went from this to having a predictable 7-figure revenue digital agency. And so I know it's more than possible because I actually did it. But my goal was 4K a month, and then the worst thing happened. The Isuzu Trooper died. I couldn't start it, and I had to get on my Schwinn bike. I had an old vintage Varsity 10-speed Schwinn bike, and I literally did the same thing on my bike. So I'm riding my bike around in Florida heat, going into places, trying to sell them websites. Now, if you're familiar with Florida at all, you know we have this little thing called the sun. And we have many days that are over 100 degrees. And so I would ride this bike around, and by the time I got into a business trying to sell them a website, I was sweating. And when I say I was sweating, I mean it in two ways. I was sweating physically. I mean, my shirt was actually wet as I went and tried to do this to feed my family. But also, I was sweating mentally because I didn't know where the next paycheck was going to come from. I knew that if I didn't get a new business to buy a new website for me, that next month there was nothing in the bank, that I had to feast or famine. I had to get a sale or not know how to get groceries. And so I was sweating internally. And it's that kind of pressure that led me to understanding the first secret that I'm going to share with you. So secret number one is this: predictable revenue. I knew that I had to find a way to make my revenue predictable. And when I say predictable, it can't be based on getting a new client, because that's not predictable. You don't know if you'll get a new client. You don't know if the economy is going to take a downturn. You don't know if your timing is going to be right with the people that need your services. So there had to be a way to get predictable revenue, because I knew that I was working very hard, and yet I didn't have peace of mind because I didn't know where the next paycheck was going to come from. And as I brainstormed, how do I make my revenue predictable? I came up with this one insight, and that was I needed recurring revenue. I needed to sell things that I could make money from each and every month, not just a lump sum at one time. Let me show you a couple charts here, a couple graphs, right? So this is a chart, this is a graph of one-time revenue. What this represents is if you went out every month during the year, January, February, March, all the way through, and you made one sale every month, and that sale was for $100. This is what one-time revenue looks like on a graph. You go out in January, you make a sale for $100, and then in February you have nothing. So you go out, you make a sale for $100, in March you have nothing, so on, so forth, all the way through the year. No matter how hard you work, January through November, if you don't wake up in December and go get a new client, you have zero in revenue, right? And I use $100 here just as an easy, mathematical tool. Whatever the number is, when it's one-time sales that you're making, you have to go out every month and reinvent the wheel, find a client, find a way to get revenue. This is what the same exact graph looks like if you just change it from one-time revenue to recurring. You see that? Let me show you one more time. This is one-time revenue. That's recurring revenue. Now, let's say in January you go out and you still sell something for $100, but you sell it for $100 a month, so they pay you every single month for that service. Now you're making that $100 in December that you sold in January. And when you go out in February and make that $100 sale again, it's also being added to all the months, including December. So if you make one simple change, instead of selling one-time services, you sell recurring services. You still only have to make one sale a month, but look what it does to December. There is no difference in the two graphs that I just showed you, except in this one, you are making a recurring sale. So when you wake up in December, you're not stressed. You know there's a chunk of money coming in because of the work you've already done. Whether you get a new sale in December or not, it's irrelevant. You get to have actual predictable revenue because you have recurring revenue. And this is such an important insight. Now let me break it down this way. And whenever you see one of these screens like I'm showing you right here, I would recommend taking a screenshot. This is where I've really packed a punch. There's a lot of information in these little screens like this. So if you want to get predictable revenue, you have to change the way you think. There's an old way of thinking and there's a new way of thinking. And the old way, it's going to feel right. It's going to feel normal. It's what all your friends are doing. It's what people are telling you to do, and it's wrong. The new way, it's going to feel weird and different and risky, and it's right. And so here's the old way. The old way is you are trying to pitch projects, okay? And so you consider every client a unique snowflake, and you're going to put together a project just for them, their specific needs. Whatever they want, you'll put it in the project. It's a one-off thing made just for them. And the way you're probably going to sell that project is through your hourly rate. You're going to say, well, to do this project, it's going to take us X number of hours as an agency. Therefore, my hourly rate is this. So this is what it's going to cost to do this project for you. And your goal in the old way is to have the largest price possible that they'll still pay for, right? Because you don't know when the next sale is going to come along. So your goal is to make as much money as you can from this specific project because you don't know what the future holds. It's unpredictable. And you're going to bill them one time. Maybe you'll bill them twice, half up front and half when they're finished, but you're not billing them monthly. You're basically billing them one time for this project. That's the old way, and I bet that many people listening to this are doing some version of the old way because it's just what comes natural, but it's not what's going to get you a predictable seven-figure digital agency. This is what's going to get you a predictable seven-figure digital agency, the new way. Instead of pitching projects, you pitch packages. A package is something that you can do for many customers. It's not a unique, one-off snowflake of an idea that you're doing just for them. So what you do is you say, okay, I've heard your needs, client. I understand what you are saying. We have a package that I think would fit your needs perfectly. We already have 20 other companies on this same package, and they rave about it. It fits their needs the same way. I think this package would be a fit for you. And so now there's clear deliverables. It's stuff you've already done for other people, and you're just going to do it for them also. And I'll tell you about the benefit of that in just a second. But you're pitching packages, and you're not selling hours. You're not selling the hourly rate. You are selling deliverables. You're able to go to them and say, you know what? With this package that I'm suggesting you buy, you get these deliverables. We're going to do this for you. We're going to do that for you. We're going to do this for you. And this is what you're buying. And so it's very clear what they're getting, and it's not based on how many hours it takes. It's kind of insane for someone to buy something based on an hourly rate. That means you're going to pay more for somebody that's less skilled because it takes them a long time. I personally, if I'm buying something, I don't want to pay more because somebody is inept. I want to pay more for skill. And yet when you sell your hourly rate, it sets up a weird situation for everyone. But when you sell deliverables, it's what the client actually wants. Here's my money. What do I get for it? And you go from larger prices to smaller prices. Now you may think, wait a second, that sounds like a terrible idea. No, it's not, because you're going to charge them every month. Think about it. You're not trying to make all your money up front off one sale. You're going to charge them every month. So you have to have a smaller price that allows them to buy on a monthly basis. And then it compounds. So even though right now you feel like you're losing money, give it a couple months and you're making money without doing any more work. You're doing smaller prices and you're billing them monthly instead of once. Now when you go, let's talk about the benefits. When you go from projects to packages, you get efficiency. Imagine if the Model T that came off of Ford's assembly line, imagine if he custom made every car for every person. Do you think he would gain any efficiencies? Do you think he would be able to drive his costs down? Do you think he would get better at his craft? No, but that's what we do when we do projects. When we do packages, it's like an assembly line. We get our costs down, we learn how to do things more efficiently, and it's better for everyone. It's better for the end customer as well. When we go from hours to deliverables, your earning potential explodes. Because think about it. If you sell things based on your hourly rate, you only have 24 hours in a day. So you take 24 times your hourly rate. That is the most you can make in a given day, and that's if you don't eat, don't sleep, don't do anything else. 24 times hourly rate is your max earning potential. When you start selling deliverables, it doesn't matter if it takes you 10 hours or if it takes you 10 minutes because you get really efficient. You have now not attached your income to your hours, which means your earning potential explodes. And when you go from larger prices to smaller prices, it's an easier purchase. And when you go from billing once to billing monthly, you get that magical thing we've been talking about, recurring, predictable income. All right, so that's the old way, that's the new way. The old way is going to feel right, but it's not. You just got to trust me on this one. If you want predictable 7 figures, you do the new way. All right, so let me show you some actual examples how I went from projects to packages, okay? This is not a webinar, just so you know, that's all philosophy. This is not theory. This is practicality. This is things I've actually done, and I'm going to show you real examples of how I did it and am still doing it, right? So one of the brands I own is called Growth Geeks, and instead of doing social media for people as a project, I started creating packages. So I created a package called Twitter Growth Engine. I will grow your Twitter following for $49 a month. That's it. It's a simple price. It's a monthly price. It's a low price. It's a clear deliverable, and we sell these like crazy. Everyone wants to buy a Twitter Growth Engine. That's one way that I went from projects to packages. Another way is monthly email newsletter. Instead of just hiring me to do marketing for you and me coming up with all these random things, no, do you want me to do a monthly email newsletter? Because that's $149 a month. Here's what you get for it. Here are the deliverables, and it's monthly. Another thing I did was Facebook ad management. You want me to manage your Facebook ads? It's $249 a month, and here's what I'll do for that. But see how it follows that trend. This is the new way. It's not projects, it's packages. It's not billing them once, it's billing them monthly. It's not based on how many hours it takes me because that's irrelevant. It's based on the deliverables, and this allows me to get that predictable recurring revenue. And just so you know, these are only 3 of the things you're seeing here on Growth Geeks. I've been doing this with so many different kinds of gigs. You can package almost anything. Let me show you some other brands I own where I do this. So on WordGeeks, we do content. So I do LinkedIn articles, 500 words weekly for $2.99 a month. I didn't just say, hey, do you want to hire me as a copywriter? I said, no, that's a project. Here's a package. I will write LinkedIn articles for you. See the difference? This allows me to get predictable income. 90 Facebook posts a month. I'll do that for $269 a month. Monthly blog posts, 1,000 words. I'll do that for $179 a month. This all follows that same trend. Not projects, packages. Not hourly, deliverables. Not billing once, billing monthly. It follows the trend. This is the new way. Now, you may be thinking, but those kinds of services lend themselves to being packaged, right? Marketing services and content services. What about my industry? My industry is different. I know you're thinking that. So I actually did an experiment to see if I could sell design services on a recurring basis. Because think about it. Who needs design on a recurring basis? But we got creative and tried it. So we came out with social media covers on a monthly basis. And we first put it out, I thought, all right, nobody's going to buy this. And then people started buying it. And I would reach out to the customer. I said, why did you buy social media covers on a monthly basis? And they said, because we want a fresh social media profile. We want to look like we're always evolving and there's always new stuff. And so to us, it's worth it to pay $79 a month to always look fresh in the eyes of our customers. And I said, so I just found a way to create recurring revenue off of design. And so we put out a couple different gigs around social media cover design. Also put out a gig for infographics on a monthly basis. And I thought, all right, no one needs monthly infographics. We put it out, we tried it, people started buying it, $149 a month. I reached out to them, why are you buying infographics on a monthly basis? Don't you just need one for some specific purpose? And they said, no, we need one all the time to put out in our social profiles to show our customers that we're in the know, that we're the thought leaders, that we've done all the research, that we have the cool looking graphics to back it all up, and then we get more customers because of that. And I was like, wow, again, I've just sold design services on a recurring packaged monthly basis. And so whatever industry you're in, I know you're going to be tempted to say, the old way works for them, but the old way works for me, the new way doesn't work for me. I'm here to tell you, if you get creative with it, the new way will work for you. It's a matter of creativity and brainstorming. There is a way to package your services. There is a way to make them monthly. All right, so I thought I had it all figured out. I figured out the first secret. I had predictable revenue, And then something happened that changed everything. My wife was pregnant with twins. So I already had one kid at home. Now I have twin boys, and that changed everything. And the main thing that changed is that I completely lost control of my time. My family needed me so much during this time that I had to rethink the way I did my business. Because yes, I had all these customers paying me monthly, but along with that came all these customers who needed something from me monthly. They were calling, they were emailing, they were asking for this or that. I had to do customer support. So I ran out of time. And the second secret is this: time control. I had predictable revenue, the first secret. Now I had to get in control of my time. And I want to show you something here. It's a pie chart that is not scientific at all. It's a pie chart that represents my feelings during this stage. So I felt like my clients needed about 49% of my time. And I also felt like my family needed about 49% of my time. And you can do the math here. That left me with about 2% for eating, sleeping, hobbies, relaxing, etc. And that wasn't enough. I could just feel my life grind to a halt. Yeah, I had predictable revenue, but I didn't have control of my time. And you don't realize how much that matters until you completely lose control of it. And so I had to figure out a way to get in control of my time, but still have predictable recurring revenue. And that's quite a conundrum. I mean, think about it. How do you do that, right? It's one thing to say I can get predictable revenue by working myself into a grave. It's another to say I'm going to have predictable revenue without actually giving up my time. And so here's what I decided to try. I went to my packages that I was selling on Growth Geeks. I went to that Twitter Growth Engine package, and I said, I wonder if I can get someone else to fulfill these services for me on behalf of my customers, but I still make a portion of the revenue. So I went to an agency that does the same service, and I said, hey, I got an idea. Why don't I give you my customers, and you let me keep half of the revenue? And I thought they would laugh at me, because why would they do that? And they said, yeah, absolutely, we'd love to do that. And I was like, wait a second, you're going to let me keep half of the revenue off this thing, but you're going to do the work? And they said, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, whoa, why? And they said, well, think about it. We're already set up to do this. The marginal cost for us to do it for more people is pretty low, and so you're giving us customers, and so we'll happily service them and give you what you need. And I said, all right, let's do it. So then I thought, what if I do it with my other gigs? So I went to my monthly email newsletter. I said the same thing, and they said, well, we can't do 50-50. We can do 75-25 because, you know, writing monthly email newsletter takes more time than a Twitter Growth Engine. And I was like, all right, that's fine. I'll keep 25%. You keep 75%. So then I did the same thing with Facebook ad management, and we were able to get a 50-50 deal on that one. And so all these agencies, all these companies were willing to let me keep predictable recurring revenue, but I didn't have to actually do the work. And then I thought, this is genius. Now I have complete control of my time, and I have predictable income coming in. And here's another one of these screens. Again, I would recommend screenshotting this. Here's the old way, and it's going to feel right, but it's wrong. The old way is you do 100% of the work yourself, and you keep 100% of the revenue yourself, and you are then 100% allocated in terms of your time, and you're 100% exhausted in terms of your life. That's the old way. That's what a lot of people are doing. Here's the new way. The new way, you do 0% of the work. Sounds crazy, but it's true. And the new way, you still keep 25 to 50% of the revenue. In the new way, you're 0% allocated. You have control of your time. And the new way, you're 0% exhausted. Now let me walk you through the benefits. When you go from doing 100% of the work to 0% of the work, the benefit is you found the Holy Grail. I mean, you have recurring revenue without having to work for it. That is the goal. You know, it's funny. People think that it's a genius insight to separate your hours from your revenue, but I think the true genius insight is separating your work from your revenue. When you get to the place in your business where you have actually separated the act of working from your revenue, that's when you've mastered the game, right? And so that's why I call it the Holy Grail. The old way, you go from 100% revenue to 25 to 50%. Again, you've divorced your work from your revenue, and that's the goal. You may think, yeah, but I'm not making 100%. But think about what you're gaining. You're gaining your life back, and you don't have to deal with all the customers at the same time. And when you go from being 100% allocated to 0% allocated, what that means is you can wake up and you can fill the day with what you want to fill the day with. You have time for your priorities. Now, I don't know what your priorities are, but whatever they are, I know that you wish you could spend more time on them. For me, family is a priority. And so when I figured out this system, I started traveling during the summer. I took my family to Chicago for the last 2 summers. We spent 6 months the first summer, and we spent 3 months this last summer in downtown Chicago just for the experience of being there, because that was a priority for me to spend that time with my family. I don't think I could have done that if I was running around chasing any number of customers and clients, but I was able to do it because I got in control of my time. And when you go from being 100% exhausted to 0% exhausted, it's funny how much different life feels, what a different quality life has to it when you're not exhausted. It's like when you're awake, you're actually awake. When you're doing something, you're actually doing something. When you're focused on something, you're actually focused on something. When you're exhausted, you're always in a fog. When you're dealing with all the mess of all these customers, you're always in a fog. When you actually escape that, the quality of life, it's almost like seeing color TV for the first time. It's like you thought you were seeing TV in black and white, and then when you live life not exhausted, you're like, whoa, this is what it feels like to be in control of my time. All right, so now I figured out the first secret. I had predictable revenue. I figured out the second secret. I had control of my time. Now, a new dilemma popped up, and that was the system itself, right? I had this great system in place. I had customers coming in that were buying packages on a recurring basis. I was giving the work to agencies that I trusted, and I was taking a piece of that recurring revenue, but I had to manage all of this. So I had to keep track in Excel of all the customers and which worker I assigned them to. I had to log into Media Temple and WordPress and update my website with new packages or take off old packages. I was using Baremetrics to track all of my income on the different things to see how it was working. I was in PayPal having to pay workers. I'm in PayPal having to receive payment from the customers. I'm in QuickBooks managing all this. And the worst is I'm in Gmail having to connect all these customers with these workers through my Gmail. They wouldn't BCC me. I'm on the thread forever. I'm having to watch a million conversations. My personal inbox was an absolute mess because I had created a system that was beautiful, but it was hard to manage. And that's when I came up with the third secret. Automated processes. I knew now that since I had predictable income and I had control of my time in regards to the clients, that if I could just automate all the processes in this business, that I would be golden. And so I thought, okay, software is what's going to automate this. So I made a list of everything that I needed software to do in a perfect world to automate my business. And so I wanted to be a website builder. I don't want to mess with WordPress anymore. I want software that can build my website. And in this software, I want to be able to add packages. If I come up with a new package, I want to be able to quickly add it, again, without using WordPress, without logging into something there. I want to be able to assign the workers and their cuts within this software. If it's already my website and it's already where the packages live, why can't I just tell it what the worker, who the worker is and how much that I owe them, so I don't have to track it in Excel anymore? And as soon as I create a package, I want it to be a customer checkout. I want a customer to be able to buy it as soon as I make it live on my website using this software. And I want it to be a communication tool. When a customer buys one of my packages, I want the customer and the worker to be connected directly inside some communication tool that is not my Gmail, right? I want them talking inside the software. I want it to manage payouts. The system now already knows what it owes the worker. Why can't it just send them money? This is the kind of stuff that software does. I want it to track 1099 forms. I want it to be fully hosted. I want it to give me metrics on everything. I wanted to get rid of all the random, desperate pieces I was using to run my business, and I wanted a clean, simple interface where everything could take place. And so at this point in time, I had had enough success with business that I had 3 full-time developers working with me. So I called them up and I said, hey, what are your all's thoughts on being in Naples for a while? And they kind of laughed. They're like, why? Because they lived all over the place. You know, they're not actually in Florida. And I said, well, I have this idea. I want to automate everything in our business. And they're like, whoa, that's a big project. I was like, I know. And that's why I'm going to fly you all down to a beach house that I rented on Airbnb, and you get to stay in it as long as it takes for you all to get in this house and figure out how we're going to automate all the processes around our business so that we're not managing this manually anymore. So this is an actual photograph on the screen right now of the 3 developers in a Naples beach house trying to diagram out the database that could actually handle all this. They spent, I think it was like a month or a month and a half in this house trying to crank out this software. And they started at the top of the list and just balled out of control. So first, they made it a website builder. And when you see the stuff on the right side here, these are real screenshots of what they built. They made a website builder where I don't have to log into WordPress anymore. They made it so I can add packages to it. Go in here, give it a title, a price, a frequency. I can just add a package, hit save, bam, it's available right there on the site. I can assign workers and cuts. I can tell each package who the worker is that's going to actually do the work and how much of a cut they're going to take from it. I can make it a customer checkout. Whenever we create a new package, there's automatically a checkout for the customer. It's a communication tool. Hallelujah, right? The workers and the customers are communicating in this software without going through my personal inbox. Now they're directly connected, which is a better experience for everyone involved. And I just changed the names of some customers here so that you guys wouldn't see actual customer names. Manage payouts. I tell it, you know, who owes money, who we owe money to, and it automatically pays them. It tracks 1099s. It's fully hosted. I can put it on whatever website I want, and it gives me sales metrics. It's this amazing system. And so finally, we had it figured out. We had the 3 secrets to building a predictable 7-figure digital agency. And just to remind you all again, those 3 secrets are on the screen. 1, you got to have predictable revenue. 2, you got to get in control of your time. And 3, you got to automate the processes. You get predictable revenue by moving from projects to packages, like I've talked about. You get in control of your time by not doing the work yourself, but allowing quality other workers to do the work, and you still take a piece of their recurring revenue. And you automate the processes by letting software do what software does. Humans weren't made to do the same thing over and over and over. They were made to build systems that can do things over and over and over. And with these 3 secrets, in 2016, we generated 1.2 million in revenue. And in 2016, I didn't deal with a single customer. That's the 3 secrets to having predictable 7-figure digital agency. And so we had it all figured out, but then we just kept having this nagging question, what if? And the question was, what if we let other agencies use this software? What if we let them put in their own services, put in their own workers, sell their own things, make recurring revenue the same way we are? What if we let other businesses, other agencies use this? And my first thought was, no, this is our secret sauce. I don't want anybody else to have it. But then we thought, you know, maybe this is the business. Maybe our real reason for being is to transform agencies as we know them. Just like we said at the beginning of this webinar, there's a trend toward packaged services. There's a trend toward the way we're doing it. $1 trillion being spent on it. And what if this is the software that can power that revolution? And so we decided, yes, let's launch it. Let's let the world use this software. And if you go to workify.co, don't go there yet. I want you to stay here and pay attention. But afterwards, if you go to workify.co, you can see this software. It's live. It's out there in the wild. You can buy an account. You can log in. You can add your services, build your website, put in your workers, make recurring revenue, and it does all the heavy lifting for you. It's a real thing that we've created. And this webinar is actually a part of our launch for this, right? We wanted to come to you all and give you a chance to be one of the first groups in at the ground level. And as a part of that launch, we had to figure out, what do we charge for this? I mean, it's doing a lot. It's a website builder. It lets you add packages, workers, cuts, a checkout tool, communication tool. It does payouts, 1099 forms. It's fully hosted. It gives you sales metrics. I mean, it's doing some serious heavy lifting. And when our beta came out, we were charging people about $2,000 a year, $2,148 to be exact. And people were gladly paying that a year as a part of our beta program. But then we thought, if we really want this to be transformational software, let's get the price down on this, right? So we decided we're not going to charge $2,000 a year for this, that if you guys want access to this because we want to help take your agency to the next level with predictable seven-figure income, then we're going to do it for $588 a year. For less than $600 a year, you're going to have access to some of the most powerful software that's ever been created for agencies. But then we were thinking about it more. We're like, that's fine as a price for the public. I think $588 a year is a great price for someone that just comes to our website. But if you're going to come to a webinar, if you're going to be a part of our launch, then we need to do something special. You're showing that you're in it to win it. You're showing that your interest level is higher than average. We need to do an even better price. So we decided that even though $588 is the price that you would see if you went to our website, that we're actually going to do it at 49% off that price I just showed you, the already low one. So we're going to do it for $299 a year. For $299 a year, I'm going to give you access to the Workify software that has been the exact software that I used to build a predictable seven-figure digital agency. And so that's $299 a year. And I'll tell you this, if somebody had come to me when I was driving around in my Isuzu Trooper and just scrambling to make it work, trying to figure out how to feed the family, and they had said, hey, for $299, I got software that can change everything, I would have paid multiples of that to get this. I had to get this the hard way. I had to raise VC money. I had to hire developers. I had to develop it for years. I had to figure out how to make it all work. I had to learn the secrets the hard way. Like, I got to this by giving blood, sweat, and tears. You get to have this for $299 a year. I wish I was in your position instead of mine. I wish I was watching this and it was already done instead of having to suffer like I did to get to this point. But you know what? It is what it is, and I'm glad to be here. So $299 a year. If you want that, you can go to bit.ly/Workify app. So bit.ly/Workify app, and you're going to get access to a page where you can buy Workify for a year for $299. And you're not going to find that price anywhere on the site. You can click around, you can go to our plans page, you can poke around everywhere. This is a webinar price for you. It's not the price for the general public. And we're going to leave that page open, that bit.ly/Workify app. We're going to leave it open, so you got a few days to figure out if you want this. Let me show you some cool stuff about that. Now, before I go on, though, let me say this. I'm going to offer you something different in just a minute, right? You've seen this offer, $299 a year, and I'm going to tell you more about it. But here in just a minute, I'm going to offer something that I've never offered to anybody on any webinar ever. It's the thing I alluded to in the intro of this whole thing. So stick around for a couple more minutes, and I got something you might even be more interested in. All right, but the $299 a year, in addition to giving you access to Workify for the year, I'm also going to give you access to a 22-module course that I put together just to help you build an agency that has predictable seven-figure revenue, because it's hard to fit everything into 1 hour, hour and a half webinar. And so I went ahead and created a 22-module course where I go into the specifics that I just don't have time to go into here. So I go into specific tactics, I go into specific mindsets, I go into everything that you're going to need to do what I did with my agencies. I'm going to throw that in for free. So for $299 a year, you're going to get access to Workify software itself. You're also going to get access to a 22-module course. And remember I told you, I'm the host of Growth Hacker TV. And normally with Growth Hacker TV, we charge $49 a month. If you go to growthhacker.tv, that's the price you're going to see. I thought, you know what? Let's just throw it in. So I'm going to give you free lifetime access to Growth Hacker TV, usually $49 a month, and you're going to get that if you sign up for $299 a year. And this is going to be your way to learn exactly what's working in marketing, exactly what's working in terms of growing a business and getting to the next level and 10xing where you're at. You're going to get insights on this show that you're just not going to get anywhere else. Being the guy hosting this show, it has changed my life, just learning firsthand from every single one of these guests. I mean, right there on the screenshot, that's Eric Ries. And I get to go into stuff about his book, Lean Startup, that nobody's asked him, that he doesn't write about in the book. And we get to go really deep on the lean stuff, and it changed the way I build my businesses. And you get to go and watch that episode along with almost 200 other ones. So we're going to throw that in for free. And when I say that this is 49% off the launch price, it doesn't even include the $49 a month that Growth Hacker TV costs, so it drives it down even further. Let me show you my personal website that's built on Workify. What I'm getting ready to show you, no smoke and mirrors, it's nothing special, there's no custom code. This is out of the box, me and Starbucks spending about 20 minutes to build my own website. So here you see, this is actually a mobile version of it because our sites are all mobile responsive. So I built a site, I put my logo on it, put my background on it, I gave it my headline, my subhead. I was able to put in there quotes like the one I showed you at the beginning. I put in there some things about me and what I've done. I've added images, I've added text. I was just able to drag and drop to make all this work. And then the really cool part, I was able to add my packaged services. So I added 3 packaged services there. And if you click on one of them, it takes you to a page about that service. So when you go to a page about that service, it tells you what you can expect, what you're going to get. It's going to tell you about the guarantee that I offer. And there's a checkout button. And you check out, and there it is. You can enter your payment info, and the whole thing just works flawlessly. This was out of the box, me using Workify, 20 minutes in a Starbucks. I have a fully fledged site up and going. You can actually go to it now, bronsontaylor.com. Like, it's a legit site built on this software. So that's my site. I wanted to show you what's possible there. Let me show you a few other things. So this software really is perfect for entrepreneurs, freelancers, or consultants. You may think, well, this is for just big agencies. No, this can be for an individual also. Maybe you're still just a solopreneur. You're somebody by yourself making it work. You can use this to sell your own services even if you don't have workers yet, even if you don't have someone that you can give the work to yet and you just keep a portion of it. Maybe you just want to do all the work yourself. This is software that still allows you to do that, right? So if you're a solopreneur, an individual, I don't want you to tune out and think this isn't for you. But at the same time, this software is built for teams and agencies and businesses. You already have a group of people around you. You already have people that you can give the work to. You already have a system in place. This can just manage that system. So whether you're an individual that's going to do all the work yourself like I did in Secret 1, or whether you've already got to Secret 2 and you're able to get in control of your time by letting others do the work, either way, this software is built for you. So again, that's $299 a year, bit.ly/Workify app, open until Sunday at midnight. All right, let me show you some examples of the kinds of things people are doing. Here's a development company. They're doing on-demand chatbot development. They have their packages on there. You know, you go to it, you can check out. Here we have graphic design. So somebody's packaged their graphic design, logo design, illustration, icons. Those are their different packages. You can check out right there on it. We have people that are doing marketing. Here's somebody doing Shopify marketing. They've put together packages of all the different things they can sell to Shopify customers to help them market their e-commerce store. Again, you can check out right there on it. We have people that are doing copywriting. They've packaged their copywriting. They're not selling projects. They're selling packages. You can check out right there on their site. And then we have people doing consulting. They've packaged their consulting gigs, which I think is super smart. I didn't think about it until I saw people using it. So if you're a consultant, you can package up your consulting and sell it on Workify. And here's something cool I want to show you. This is a new feature we rolled out, which is, let's say you already have a website you love, then you can just embed your Workify services on any website that you own. So anywhere where you can put a piece of JavaScript, you can make your Workify service live on that site. So right here, you'll notice the Purchase Now link, the last link there on that site that I'm showing you that says Purchase Now. When you click that, bam, the embed pops up. So now there's a thing that pops up on any site you want that talks about the service, gives people a buy button right there, and lets them check out on any site you currently have. So if you don't want a new site, you don't need a new site, you can use your existing site, embed the Workify package services on it that you've created, and then you get to use the assets you already have, but you get to add to it the power of Workify. That was definitely something I want to show you guys because it's so cool. So here's something I want you to think about. You know, you're used probably to projects, you're used to feast or famine, but here's what it looks like when you finally productize your services, when you finally put them in packages. I've connected my Stripe account to my Slack account, so I get notified whenever there's a new sale. And these are recurring monthly sales. So this is from one day. I just took a snapshot of my Slack channel. Notice the timestamp. At 11:25, I sold a bundle of 30 tweets monthly. At 11:36, somebody subscribed to Facebook bundle of 30 posts monthly. At 1:14, somebody bought 500 words monthly blog post. At 1:26, monthly active campaign. At 1:55, Instagram marketing services. At 5:25, a client care plan. At 6:52, another 500-word blog post weekly. This is just a snapshot from a few hours, one screen of my Slack channel. Think about what this does. Remember that graph I showed you, right? One-time sales, they stay flat. Recurring revenue, they compound. Imagine if every day you had these kind of sales rolling in and they started compounding every month, and then you realize, whoa, building a 7-figure predictable revenue digital agency is more than possible. It's probable with the right tools and the right mindset. This is what you can do inside of your own Stripe account. All right, so deal summary, but hang on for a minute because I got another thing to show you after that. Remember, deal summary here is 1 year of Workify, 22 module course. I'm going to throw in it for free, and lifetime access to Growth Hacker TV, right? If you want that deal, take that deal, but I've got something that's mind-blowing because here's what's happened. Whenever I offer this, I keep getting the same question from people. They say, can we use your gigs and workers? I've heard that question so many times. I can't even, I have no, I mean, it's astronomical how many times people have asked, can we just use your gigs and workers? And it makes sense because you think about it. I've spent 3 years building out this on-demand workforce. I've spent 3 years building out my network of workers who can do these services, and I've already vetted them for quality. I've already got rid of the jokers that don't do good work. I've already got all the negotiation done with what their cut is. I've already figured out all the details. I've already got the packages created. I already know what packages sell. I already have the copywriting done for the packages. Like, I've literally done all the work that must be done on top of the software. And so people ask, well, can we just use your gigs and workers? And for the longest time, the answer was no. But we finally created a situation where it's possible for you as a digital agency to actually use our gigs and our workers and still make money from it. And it's something we're rolling out for the first time called our partner program. Now let me explain to you how this partner program will work because I think this is what you're going to be interested in. So this is an actual screenshot. Sorry. This is an actual screenshot of hustlegigs.co. And if you go to hustlegigs.co, it's a live site on the internet, and this is actually a partner website, okay? So this is one of our partners, and what we do is we build you your own site that you can use as our partner. But here's some really cool things about this site. First, notice the URL, hustlegigs.co. We can make the URL anything you want, right? You become a partner of ours, and you tell us what domain you want to use, and that's where your partner page will live. So you can give it its own domain, or it can be a subdomain of a site you already own. Whatever the situation, you can use whatever domain you want, and that's where your partner page is going to live. And you tell us what logo you want to use, we're going to put that logo in the top left. So whatever your logo is, it's completely white labeled. Nobody has to know we exist. We're going to let you take all the credit for everything that's going to happen, which is kind of mind-blowing. And you tell us what headline and subhead you want, and that's what we'll make it, right? Because you know your audience. You know what you can say to get them excited and what kind of brand that you have. So we'll make the headline and subhead whatever you want. And same thing for the background. You have a background you want to use, send it to us. That background will be on your partner page. And notice in the bottom right there, there's a live chat button. What that means is this. not only are we going to give you this white labeled site that's amazing, we're going to manage the live chat for you. We literally have an employee that is ready during normal business hours to handle any live chat that comes in on your site, and we handle it as if we're working for you. We actually keep the veil up that this is white labeled even on our live chat. So you're going to get a site as a partner that's built to your specs with your logo, your URL, your headline, your subhead, a live chat that we manage. And when they click on View Services, it's going to show them all of your services. The only thing is, they're actually our services, right? These are gigs that we created. These are gigs or packaged services, however you want to say it, that we've already written the copywriting for. We already have the workers for. We already have the cuts worked out with the workers. Everything is ready to go, locked and loaded, flawless execution. We are ready with these services, and you can have them on your partner page instantly without creating them. They're just there, but they're white labeled. People think they're buying them from you. We're simply being the fulfillment. We're letting our workers do all the work, but you take all the credit. Think about it like AWS. We're almost like AWS for services on the internet now. We're going to be behind the scenes making things work for your business, but letting you take the credit. Nobody needs to know that you're using AWS. We're going to be the utilities behind the scenes making it all work. And let me just say this. You may be thinking, well, that's great, but what services are these? I don't want to compete with you guys. So let's say you're a Facebook ad agency. That's your bread and butter. And you're thinking, well, I don't want your Facebook ad gig to be on this partner page when that's where I make my primary money. Great. Let us know which ones you want to remove. We'll remove any service you want from your offering page. So you're just going to offer the stuff that you want to offer. We're not going to compete with you. The way I like to think about it is this, is that this allows you to become a full service agency. So keep doing whatever it is you're doing, right? Keep going in the direction you're going, but add this partner page to the mix. And now when somebody asks for something you don't do, you can send them this partner page. You can get a recurring revenue stream that's coming in alongside what you're already doing. This isn't going to compete with what you're doing. It's going to add to it, right? And so let me break it down in terms of what you do, right? I want to make it very clear who does what if you're going to partner with me. I'm very big on expectations. So here's what you do. You direct people to your site. That's it. That is the one thing you do. We give you this site, and you just simply direct people to it. Here's what we're going to do, just to make it really clear. We are going to provide you with that site. We're going to provide you with a white labeled site that looks like the one I just sent you or just showed you, except that it's going to have your logo, your domain, your background, your headline, your subhead, all that. But it's going to look like the one I showed you, just with your stuff in it. We're going to provide that for you. We are going to create all the gigs. Right now, we have, I think, about 15 or 16 gigs that have been created for our partners. We're going to be adding to that every month. So every month, we're going to roll out new services that you're going to have the option of adding to this platform. And so right now, you're going to have 15, 16 gigs out of the gate ready to go. But we create those. You don't do anything with them except decide if you want to display them to your customers. We are going to source the workers. You don't ever have to think about the workers. And I'll talk about the workers here in a minute. But you don't have to worry about sourcing them or anything about them. We are going to manage the live chat, right? We have a literal human managing the live chat during normal business hours. And here, this next thing I didn't tell you about yet, which is pretty awesome. We manage all customer support. If somebody buys from your partner page, we consider it our responsibility to take care of them no matter what happens. If they need a refund, we take care of it. If they need a question answered about one of the services, we take care of it. Whatever it is, we do it. And we go so far that we actually do this. We create an email address just for you to manage support on your behalf. So we're going to give you an email address that is white labeled to you, but it's connected to our Zendesk account. So when somebody emails from your partner page about a customer support request, we know they came from your partner page. We will be on brand, and we will not act like we're from Growth Geeks or act like we're from Workify. We're going to act like we're from your brand, and we're going to manage all customer support. And we take care of everything involved in that. And here's the cool part. We pay the workers, so you don't have to worry about paying people. But even more importantly, we are going to send you money on the first of each month. If you're a partner of ours and you make sales on this partner page, then you simply get money on the first of each month. And let me tell you about how that works a little bit. So we send you money on the first of each month because you get 50% of the profit on anything that's sold. So if we give you a partner page, you send people to that page, they buy these services, you're going to get 50% of the profit. And remember, most of our gigs are actually recurring gigs. So you're going to get 50% recurring. It's not a one-time, PayPal thing you get where we send you money. You're going to get that money every month if they're buying a recurring gig. Let me break this down. Let me do some simple math with you. So let's say you sell a gig on your partner site that's $100 a month. Most things actually cost a little more than that, but let's say it's $100 a month for easy math. And let's say that we have worked out a deal with the workers to give them 50% of the revenue. So now that other 50%, it's for you and me to split, right? I paid the worker, now me and you are going to split the rest. So you're going to get 25 of the overall revenue, I'm going to get 25 of the overall revenue, and the worker got 50% of the overall revenue. Basically, whatever the profit is after we pay the worker and after we pay credit card processing fees, once we take care of those things, then we split the profit. And so we are in this as partners. And you may think, well, why are you giving me 50%, right? Like, I could easily just say, oh, we're going to send you 10% of the profit, and it's still a good deal. I'm actually viewing this as a partnership. We're going to be in business together. And when you're in business together, you both have to get a piece of the rewards, and you both have to pull your own weight. I expect you to do what you can to make your partner page a success, whatever that is. And I'm going to do all that I can to make sure that the best gigs are up with the best workers, with the best customer support. I'm going to do all I can to pull my weight as well. And so we're going to split it down the middle. Whatever profit there is, 50-50. You're going to get money sent to you on the first of each month. And here's something that I want you to really think about. As an agency, like with the math I just gave you of an overall $100 piece of pie, if a worker gets $50 and you and I split the other $50, so we both get 25, that means you have a 25% margin on that sale, right? So that is a better margin than most agencies have. Most agencies can get 10 to 20% margin on their services. You're going to get 25% margin and not have to do anything except send people to your partner page. And you're going to get better margins than if you actually had to manage the customer and do all those kinds of things. And just so you know, the average that we pay the worker is 50 to 75%, right? Most of our gigs are around 50%. We have a few where they take 75%, but there's always at least 50% to 25% left for you and I to split. And again, I'm just being super transparent because we're going to be partners together. So you need to know that it's a little bit of a floating range, but we never pay them less than 50%, and we never pay them more than 75. All of our workers are somewhere in that range, and so you know how much you're going to get when me and you split the profit on that service. All right, so that's how that works. Let me break it down for you this way. Who are these workers? Because I know what you're thinking. This is my company. I can't just let anybody handle them. So our workers have an average rating of 4.6 stars across all of our brands, across all of our services. When you blend it all together, we have a 4.6 star rating. We take quality extremely seriously because here's the thing. The services you're selling, it's the same services I'm selling. If my services aren't working for your customers, they're not working for my customers either, right? That 1.2 million we did last year, it's on these services. And so I have to keep the quality high for my own sake, and you're going to get the benefit of that. So these workers, and just to tell you who they are, I mean, many of them have been certified by Google, they've been certified by Facebook, they've been certified by HubSpot. They have had previous careers doing marketing at places like Universal Studios and Pepsi. Here's a funny story. I actually have somebody that's a worker that does social media for me, and they also manage the social media of Little Kim. I mean, that's the quality of people that we have in our network that we've built over the last couple of years. And I like to think of this as a rare situation that I call the win-win-win, right? It's a win for your agency, and here's why. Because you're going to get predictable revenue. You're actually going to be able to realize that 7-figure predictable revenue potential that this whole webinar is about. You're going to get predictable revenue. Also, you don't have to do any additional work. And I mean that. Like, you literally send us your logo and what domain you want to use and what you want the headline to be. After that, we do it all. We're creating the gigs. We're finding the workers. We're managing the customer support. We're managing the live chat. We are literally doing everything on your behalf. And this allows you to become a full service agency. No agency can do it all, so let us fill in the gaps. You do what you're good at, let us do the rest, and you create a new revenue stream for yourself. But this is also a win for your customers. You're giving them the services they want. Just because you don't currently do these services doesn't mean they wouldn't buy them, doesn't mean they don't want them. And here's the great thing about sending your customers to your partner page. They cannot help but buy. We have done so much around conversion rate optimization. We know how to price them and package services to make people want to buy them, that when you send customers to that page, it converts insanely high. So you're giving them services they want, and it's services being fulfilled by high-quality workers. You're not outsourcing it to somebody you don't know and trust. You're letting me take care of it, someone that is building a business doing nothing but this. And just to put my money where my mouth is, we give a money-back guarantee to your customers and mine all alike. If somebody comes, buys a service, not happy, we refund them. I'm not trying to take anybody's money, but it's also because I know the quality that we're providing, and so I know that having to give somebody's money back is a rare situation, so I'm happy to give a money-back guarantee. And it's a win for Workify's business. It's a win for me because it allows me to distribute my gigs to a larger audience, gigs that I've dialed in and believe in. It allows me to add an additional revenue stream to my business by partnering with you, and it allows me to work with great partners. And this is actually an important one. I've come to the place in my career where I know that I can't do it all myself. Now, when I was younger, I thought I could. When I was younger, I thought I could do everything within my agency, and I didn't need to partner with anybody. But as I've grown older and wiser and figured out a few things in business, when you partner with great people, you can do things you couldn't do alone. And that's the way I see this. I'm going to be able to do things that I couldn't do alone with you, and you're going to be able to do things that you couldn't do alone by partner with me. So I see this as a win-win-win. All right, here's how much it costs. You want to be a partner with me? You're going to only have to pay $4.99 a year. That's insane, right? So think about it, $2.99, and you get the software, and if you want to do that, right? But for $200 more, for $4.99 a year, you actually get to be a partner with me, and I do all the heavy lifting, and you get money sent to you on the first of every month if you make sales on this partner page. That's it. And if you want this deal, go to bit.ly/Workify partner. Again, that's bit.ly/Workify partner. $4.99 a year. This is a price that nobody has ever seen before. You're not going to find this on our website, and it's only $499 a year. It's insane that for $4.99 a year, you're going to be able to have the potential to build a 7-figure digital agency with me and my team of trained experts doing all the heavy lifting. That's pretty amazing. And so here's the new deal summary. You're going to get 1 year of the partnership that I just talked about, right? Of everything I just said, you get 1 year of it. And I'm still going to give you the 22-module course. I'm still going to give you lifetime access to Growth Hacker TV, normally $49 a month. And I'll even do this. If you want access to the Workify software itself, as we're setting up your partner page, as you're working with us to get that going, let us know that you also want access to that other piece of software to do it yourself, and we'll go ahead and throw that in too. So you're getting all the stuff from the $299, and you're actually getting a partnership where we do all the heavy lifting. Now, I will say this. If you choose to do both, if you do the partnership route and you get access to the software, it's two separate things, right? You can't mix your services with our pre-defined services yet, and so I don't want you to think that you're going to be able to merge the two together, but I'm happy to give you both deals. I'll give you the $299. You can have access to the software. You can build your own thing on it, but you'll also have access to this partnership page that we control and that we do everything on your behalf. So again, $499 a year, bit.ly/Workify partner. And it's funny, like as I'm looking at this price, it's the first time we've ever offered this price, first time we've ever offered this deal, and I'm thinking, wow, we should have made it $9.99. I mean, I'm like,
raise your price.
right? It's insane. I'm like, I'm kind of having this realization as I'm sitting here, like, what am I doing? Like, that's actually too good of a deal. But you know what? I actually think the real money is on selling the services and splitting that profit with people. And so I have such a belief in these partnerships that the yearly thing you're paying me to manage all the stuff I'm doing, we're going to make more money off the profit together than anything else. So I'm happy to do it, $4.99 a year. One last note, I want to say this: the setup process. Again, I'm very big on expectations. So we are considering this an actual partnership. So what that means is this: if you take me up on the $4.99 deal, Holland, who is our platform manager, she is going to personally get a receipt that you bought this. Okay, it's not going to be an automated process. She's going to get an email that says, hey, this person bought the partnership plan at $4.99 a month. She is going to personally reach out to you over email and say, hey, super excited to have you on board to be a partner. Here's what I need from you. I'm going to need your logo. I'm going to need the domain you want this to point at. And she's going to give you an email of what she needs to get this going. And you guys are going to have a few back and forth email to get your partner page set up. I say that just so you know the process, so that when you check out, you're not like, oh, is it done? No, it's not done, because this is a partnership, right? It's going to take us 24, 48 hours. Give us a little bit of time to have a back and forth over email with you, get a few things set up, then we're going to make it live as quick as possible. I'm just wanting you to be very clear. This is a partnership. We're working together, right? We're going to be doing work for you. I want you to be patient. Give us a day or two to get everything set up for your sake. But I think we can kill it together. I think you guys, with our systems in place, we can really do some damage. All right, that's all I got. I mean, I know I went long on time here, but let's do a few questions. And let me say this: you can email me questions too. I know that you may have a question and you need to get answered before you buy. That's fine. Email me bronson@workify.co. 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 I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can so that we can figure out anything you need before you purchase. All right, I'm going to go to the questions and just see if I can answer a few of these. All right,
hey, Bronson, do you mind if I just chime in real quick before you answer some questions?
Absolutely, please.
I just want to say thank you very much. I do think your offer is incredible at just about any price, honestly. I mean, the strategy and the approach that you guys are taking, again, for anybody who's been a part of our community for a while now, you should know that I am just 1,000% advocate of this approach. My business partner Josh and I, this is the way we totally changed what was happening in the small business IT industry. That was an hourly business, and we rolled out this, hey, you know what, for X flat fee per month, we'll just manage your technology. And we were a total disaster at it at first because we had not yet learned all the lessons that you got in this presentation, and that Bronson has learned over time. But we refined it and built that into a business doing north of $5 million recurring revenue, and because of that, we're able to sell it for a good chunk of change because it had that nice predictable revenue and cash flow. And we then took that and did that same thing in the agency world. We took most agencies out there are trying to sell consulting services at $1,000 or more per month, and they're trying to sell projects, which is exactly, I hate projects, don't do any projects. And our highest price point on a package at our agency was $497 a month. And we had these very discrete package benefits that we were delivering, and we signed up so many clients so fast that at one point I had 8 full-time people. I was just counting as I was listening to this presentation. I had 8 full-time people that their entire job was to essentially set up that new customer onto the package, put them into Basecamp, where we would then try and manage these triggers to happen so that when a new customer signed up, they would get the right little orientation survey and all that type of stuff to collect the information to try and kick off the service. And it was such a kludgy mess that I had 8 full-time people managing that process. That you would now be able to do for $299 a year using this platform, or even better, $499 a year and just have all of the delivery of the services taken care of as well, because those 8 full-time people, that was just the management of the onboarding of clients. It wasn't the service delivery. For the service delivery, we had a whole big team of people that was then responsible for all that. So it really is just an incredible opportunity. I can tell you that Josh and I, when we went through what was being offered here, our jaws hit the floor, because we're like, gosh, this just opens up this world of opportunities for people to go out there and deliver these services and focus on what's most important, which is getting the client and generating the recurring revenue. Get the client, generate the recurring revenue, right? Those are the things that, to be successful in this business, you have to focus on. And this takes away all of the other, not all of the other, but so many of the other challenges of actually running the business, that allows you to just be really efficient, really focused on those things. So super, super cool platform. I thank you as an entrepreneur who has been in the services business here for years. This is incredible, and I think it's so awesome that you're making the platform and the services available to other people to be able to run with. That's fantastic. So anyway, on that note, I'll let you answer your questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for letting me, come and make this presentation to your group here, Mike. I mean, I can already tell, this is a good group, and I think they're going to get a lot out of this. So one of the questions, somebody said, do I need both, right? No, you don't need both, right? You don't need the $299 and the $499. The $299 plan is if you have your own services that you want to plug in, and you want to put your own workers in there, and you just want to use my software, but it's all your stuff, right, in terms of the services and all those things. The $499 is you can just white label my services, right? I've already figured out a bunch of services that sell really well. I already have the workers for them. You can just throw your logo on it and get a check in the mail, basically. So it depends on what you want to do. They're both awesome offers. They do different things with the same idea behind them, but you don't need both. And remember, if you do the $499, you get both. So if you're like on the fence, like, do I want to sell his services or do I want to do my own? I would say do $499, and now you have maximum optionality before Sunday. All right. Someone says, how do we track the sales? So we're actually in the process right now of building out the dashboards to let partners track the sales. Like I said, this is new. You guys are some of the first people to get in and actually do this. And so we're building out dashboards. So eventually you're going to log into an account and you're going to see all the sales coming through. You're going to be able to download Excel reports that show you where all the money's flowing. And we're very transparent about the money. We show you line item, like, all right, this person bought this service. This is how much we paid the worker. This is how much was left. We split that with you, and then we add all up, and show you kind of where your money's coming from so you can run your business well. Someone says, do I lock them into a 12-month contract when people buy services? No, I don't. It's a little bit controversial. A lot of people like locking people into contracts. I've grown a business by saying, if I don't provide value, I want you to cancel. And that's why people love buying on sites where these services live, because they feel no friction before the buy. They feel like, all right, I know what I'm going to get. I know the price. I can buy it and have work start immediately. And if I don't like it, I can get a refund. And then if I do like it, I'm not locked in forever. And so, again, the old way would say lock them in. The new way is, you know what, let's do what's right by the customer, because they're mine and your customer. And so, no, I don't lock them in, and we're just happy to work in the way they need us to. Let's see here. Can we use Workify without using your outsources? Absolutely. That's that first plan, right? You buy a $299 plan, you are using Workify without using my outsourcers, without using my services. You're getting the raw software to make it what you need it to be. Let's see here. Similar question. What if we want to establish our own recurring monthly prices for our own services? Again, that would be the $299 plan. So you would definitely do that. Someone just says, how can I be a worker and fulfill your services? That's a good question. So we actually have someone internally that vets all the workers. If you were to send me an email, I would forward it along to the right person, and you would be in a queue. And if we like your work and we think you're a good fit, there would be a possibility there. But there's no promises. Most people don't get accepted to be a worker. We have pretty high standards. Like I said, 4.6 average star rating. But you send me an email, I'll give it to the right people, and that'll be in process. I will say this: if you're a partner, it goes a long way to greasing the wheels there. Let's see here. Someone says, can we mix in our own services on the partner site? Today, no. It's something we're getting requests for, to be honest. So it's something we're probably going to consider, letting you mix your own services with the ones we have. But for right now, today, it's not the case. So I'm just going to say it that way, even though I got plans in my head. there's always a roadmap future that I'm thinking about. Someone just says, I love it. Let's see. Any other questions here? Everybody just saying, awesome, love it. Someone says, I got here late. Will there be a recording? Absolutely. Let's see. Someone says, can coders modify the 299 software? What they can do is this. You can build whatever site you want and then use the embed function to put Workify services on that site. So instead of heavily modifying Workify, I would build what you want and just take my JavaScript, drop it in your site, and now whatever your coders do, it has the power of Workify. That's the way I would think about it personally. Let's see here. Can we assume the profit is 50% on average? So the actual average is 40%. It's a range between 25 and 50, and the actual average falls at 40%. So across all sales everywhere, the average is 40%. So if you did math assuming you're going to get half of that 40%, that would be pretty accurate to reality when you're actually getting paid. Now, it'll depend on what services your people buy. And so if they buy things that have a 50% margin, you're going to get more money. So it'll depend. But average across everything, 40% is what we keep, and we're willing to split that with you in half. Wow, this is a great one. Someone says, truly incredible, excited. See if this is what it's cracked up to be. Put it to the test. I mean, you guys are the first one that I've made this offer to, but I do have people that are partners using it, and it's working. I mean, I sent our first payments out on the 1st of this month, and people are like, wait, what? Like, we didn't do anything. They're like, we literally didn't do anything. We just sent you our logo, and we sent out an email about this new partner page, and people went to it, and now I'm getting money. I'm like, yeah, and it's recurring money, so you can expect that to come back next month. I mean, it's mind-blowing, the partners. I got one partner that's a huge partner. They have a massive social network that they run, and I actually had to sign a contract with them that I would not tell anybody that they're using us to fulfill all their services. And so they basically said, this is a dream come true, this is a perfect match, please sign an NDA because we don't want anyone to know that you are the secret sauce behind the scenes giving us a new revenue stream. I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll do it. So they were a big enough partner to make that work. So even though this is the first time I've made the offer publicly, you're not the guinea pig. This is working. It is what it's cracked up to be. It does work. Someone says, sounds pretty friggin' amazing. I love that. Let's see. Do you include ways to market our partner page in the training? There is some around marketing in the training. There's definitely a number of modules around that. And as I grow the number of partnerships that we have, I'm going to be putting out more and more content to help those partners because your success is my success now. So it's going to be something that we're actively thinking about as we move forward. Let's see. How do you handle the onboarding process for clients? Yeah, I love this question. So when a customer buys one of these packaged services, we have a questionnaire that pops up instantly that says, hey, thanks for checking out. Here's the information we need to get started right away. And that questionnaire is unique to the service they bought. So as soon as they finish the questionnaire, it sends the questionnaire to the worker, and it says, hey, worker, you have a new customer, and this is the form they filled out. You need to get in touch with them ASAP and get going, but you should have most of what you need to start working. And so instantly the ball is just rolling as soon as you click buy. And that's why we call this on-demand work. It's not the usual agency workflow where, you go to most agencies' websites and we say there's a contact form, not a buy button. So you go to the contact form and you say, hey, I'm thinking about having you guys do some work. Great, let me send you some case studies. Great, how much do you charge? Oh, wow, that's a lot. I didn't know it was that much. Do you have anything cheaper? Okay, let's get on the phone call. Can we meet in person? Oh, you're not in the same city as me. Let's just do a Skype hangout. Oh, let's cancel a Skype hangout because something came up. Let's try to connect next week. Like, that's the typical agency flow for onboarding a new client. This is, hey, that's a service I want for a good price, and the deliverables are clear. there's a buy button. Let me check out my Visa card, fill out my form, and work will start immediately. It's insanely different, which is why people love it, right? And now you get to have the power of being an on-demand agency in addition to what you're already doing. So you can just add that to the agency that you already have. All right, someone says my mind is blowing up with the potential. I tell you what, like, you know, I feel like the potential of this is massive. And I say that selfishly because I think that my 50% and your 50%, like, it's going to be so much that this is going to work amazing. Because I know that you're talented people that know how to, like, share this, and you know how to position this, and you're going to help your people see the value in this, and it's going to make us both a lot of money. So I'm excited with the potential too. I think most of the other questions are just saying how awesome this webinar was, so I'm not going to read all those. But Mike, man, this is great. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And again, if you have any questions, send them to bronson@workify.co. The cart will stay open until Sunday at midnight. And again, that offer for this most recent offer I gave you is bit.ly/Workify partner, and that's $4.99 a year. You get to be a partner with your own site, your own white labeled stuff, and you just get money sent to you as sales are made. And so it's, I think it's a no-brainer. Let's be partners. Let's do this. Thank you so much for your time. All right, bye-bye, guys.